Welcome to Fenway Park as the fans make their way in through the turnstiles. It's game 2 of a 3-game series between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Well, certainly a big game tonight for the Blue Jays, no doubt about it. The Yankees breathing down their neck, a half game back at the Jays as a result of the New York Yankees winning yesterday. Of course, the Red Sox beating the Blue Jays. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, Jerry, a great sign tonight for the Red Sox. They get their second baseman back and batting second, Dustin Pedroia.
That was a freak injury for Pedroia, a hamstring problem back in June. That really cost him an awful lot of times. A couple of times he tried to make comebacks from it, but wasn't quite ready. You can see him as he went across that first base bag, just grabbed the back of his leg. And, you know, when Pedroia can't play, he's absolutely miserable. And here's a guy that's, you know, and see the numbers this season, 287 with the 15 doubles, 9 home runs, 34 RBIs. But all that time on the bench, and you know that he's been chomping at the bit to get back in the lineup. And one good thing about it is he gets back in the lineup with plenty of time left in the season to prove to himself and everybody else that he's okay going into the offseason. That's important, because if you go to the end of the season and you don't know, you question that all off season. But it's a good opportunity for him to get back in the lineup. It may take him a while to get his swing back, no rehab assignment, but just to prove to himself that he's healthy.
Well, the Red Sox are playing great baseball, and they're certainly glad to have Dustin Pedroia back with them. We'll talk more about Dustin Pedroia when Garrett Austin joins us after this. Audi, experience a new Audi A3 today. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Toyota's website for deals via Toyota.com. Digital Federal Credit Union, see what DCU can save you. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at Southwest.com. We welcome you back inside Fenway Park for Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, no doubt, when the Red Sox have somebody go down, usually they want to get back quickly. This guy in particular wants to be back every day and loves to play the game of baseball. That's Dustin Pedroia, who is back today, as we check in with Garrett Austin, who has the very latest. Garrett?
That's right, Don. Dustin Pedroia is back in the lineup. Pedroia spoke to reporters before the game, and he said he's excited and he feels great. Interim manager Torey Lovello said Pedroia has been putting in a lot of work behind the scenes, and he should be ready to go despite not having a rehab assignment. Here's what Pedroia had to say about making his return tonight.
Right now, it's kind of tough timing. The way I had to rehab, do a strengthening phase and running progression, and then right at the end, it wasn't time to go play minor league games and get into it. So, obviously, we got to be smart and make sure that I'm responding well after games and things like that. So, but I'm excited to be out there with the guys. Obviously, I still got to, do strengthening stuff and make sure, everything's fine. But, I went through all the running progression, all the strengthening stuff. So now it's just focus on playing.
It'll be great to have Pedroia back in the lineup tonight for the Red Sox. Well, it is R.A. Dickey, the veteran, on the mound tonight for the Jays. He's 10-10 against the rookie, Henry Owens, 2-2. We're back with the first pitch for Fenway right after this. Southwest.com. Well, welcome back to Fenway Park, and welcome back to Dustin Pedroia back at second base for the Red Sox. And Jerry's got to be some nerves going through there, even though he is a veteran. Anytime you come back.
No, there's no question about it, Don. You know, you're out for a long period of time, and I don't care who you are, you feel a little bit nervous when you're getting back on the field. And believe me, he has been anxious to get back on the field.
Now the Red Sox have taken the field, so let's check out the Blue Jays lineup brought to you by New England Chevy Dealers. Ben Revere leading it off in left field with Josh Donaldson, the MVP candidate, at third base batting second. Jose Bautista is in right field batting third with Edwin Encarnacion, the DH. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop with Chris Colabello at first base. Kevin Pillar in center field bats seventh with Cliff Pennington at second base eighth. And Josh Tolley doing the catching and batting ninth. The Red Sox starting pitcher presented by your local New England Audi dealers. Henry Owens on the mound for his seventh major league start. Comes in at 2-2 with a 5.87 earned run average, 29 strikeouts to 13 walks, and opponent sitting at 270 against the tall lefty. Last time out, a loss against the Yankees, lasting just an inning and 2/3, roughed up to the tune of 7 runs. He walked 2, struck out 2 in that effort against the Yankees.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are 11th in the American League with 82 errors on the season. Pablo Sandoval will be at third base. Xander Bogaerts the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. Travis Shaw the first baseman. Left to right, Brock Holt, Mookie Betts, and Jackie Bradley Jr. and Blake Swihart doing the catching for Owens.
Now the umpiring crew, Jim Reynolds calling the balls and strikes tonight with Paul Schreiber at first base. Fielding Culbreth is the crew chief at second base, and Manny Gonzalez, the umpire, at third. Are available. This telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Comfortable conditions after a hot day today in Boston. Has cooled off a tad. 80 degrees left to right. The breeze at 11 miles per hour. And the forecast partly cloudy for the remainder of the evening. Well, Henry Owens ready to work here and get it started, as the Red Sox have been playing some great baseball lately. They've won 4 straight games and took the first game of this series here yesterday against the Jays. First pitch of the ball game tonight, and that's in there for strike one, and we're underway. Now Ben Revere hitting at .317. No homers, 6 runs batted in. He's been leading off now for the Blue Jays, and look out. That one gets him on the hand, it looks like. And down he goes. The trainer and John Gibbons will be headed out here to check on their left fielder, Ben Revere.
Revere getting that hand up and getting it right off the right hand on the bat. Getting his head out of the way. And looks like he's going to be all right as he makes his way down the first baseline.
So Owens hitting the first batter that he faces in the ball game tonight. And Revere will stay in the game. Keep a close eye on that as the night progresses, but he is aboard to begin things here in the first inning. And it brings up Josh Donaldson. .306 average for Donaldson, 37 home runs, 115 RBIs. MVP chant coming from the Jays fans, and as we saw, a lot of Jays fans here yesterday for this series as they head down the stretch run. Right now in first place in the American League East, but that is in jeopardy heading into tonight's action with the Yankees hosting the Baltimore Orioles tonight and the Blue Jays here at Fenway Park, and just a half game between the Blue Jays and the Yankees heading into tonight. Go to first, and diving back is Revere.
Now, 2 different types of pickoff moves from Owens. One with the conventional move to first base, then the one where he steps back off the rubber and makes a quick throw in that direction that he just used.
Swing and a miss. Ball gets away from Swihart. Revere is going to get to second base. Was going to stand up, then was going to slide, then did a little bit of both as he gets into second base, realizing there was going to be no throw.
Yeah, change up this time that's going to get away from Swihart. Bounce up that third base line, and good base running by Ben Revere over at first base. There you see the circle change grip right there by Owens.
Wild pitch gets Revere into scoring position here with nobody out. And Donaldson with a count of 0-2. On the ground down the third baseline, it is a foul ball. Sandoval wasn't sure, so he fires it across just to be sure, but it is indeed foul.
Obviously, this is the first time that any member of this lineup has faced Owens, and there's the ground ball down to third base, clearly in foul territory, but always wise to come up and make the throw if you're not sure.
The arsenal for Henry Owens this year in his first major league season. 67% of the time fastballs. Donaldson fouls it off to the right out of play. Red Sox took the first game of the series, but not because of anything that Donaldson didn't do. He went 3 for 4 in the ball game yesterday, and that includes a home run.
Yeah, 5 for his last 7 at the plate.
No 2 pitch. And Donaldson will take that high. Well, kind of a test here tonight for Henry Owens, coming off that tough outing against the Yankees, and certainly doesn't get any easier dealing with this lineup in the Blue Jays.
Well, you know, when you look at the numbers, I mean, the teams that he's faced so far, I mean, there's been no easy teams for Henry Owens. It seems like he's always faced an ace or somebody from the other club, or a very, very good hitting ball club.
And of course, made his major league debut on the giant stage of Yankee Stadium. 1-2 pitch, carved foul again. The fastball that time.
Looks like a little extra zip on his fastball here early in the game at 92 miles an hour.
Revere hit by a pitch, got his second on the wild pitch, and now Josh Donaldson battling here with a count of 1-2. Here's pitch 7 of the at bat for Donaldson. And he sends it to left on a line, but right at Brock Holt, who makes the catch, below the cap high. No advance for Revere.
Good solid contact that time by Donaldson, but standing right there was Brock Holt. He was playing him well off the line. You can see he's not even in the picture at this time. Now he is about the middle of the scoreboard. And makes the catch on the line drive. That was a curveball from Owens.
So runner at second base, 1 down, brings up Jose Bautista, hitting at .251, 33 home runs, 96 runs batted in. All in the dirt, gathered by Swihart. No advance for Revere at second base. Bautista does his fair share of walking. In fact, ranks first in the American League with 88 walks.
Actually has more walks than strikeouts. 88 walks, 87 strikeouts.
16 walks in his last 16 games, a .493 on base percentage. As he takes the strike, and it's 1-1. Loves hitting here at Fenway Park, as Alex Spear of the Boston Globe points out. Owens bluffing off the backside, sending Revere back to the bag. The numbers career-wise for Bautista here at Fenway. .286, 21 home runs here at Fenway Park. And that one elevated at 90 miles an hour as Owens falls behind. 2-1. Edwin Encarnacion waiting on deck. Pretty good 3-4 combination for the Blue Jays. And he mixes in Donaldson as a 2 and Tulowitzki as a 5. It just gets even better. 2-1 pitch. Time called as Owens really taking his time in between pitches.
Yeah, spending a lot of time taking a look back at Revere at second base. Concentration really should be on Batista at this stage. Pedroia holding him close to second base, as close as he possibly can.
In there for a strike, and it's 2-2. Batista didn't think so.
Fastball inside part of the plate right here. Looks like a good pitch. And it was.
I don't think Jose agrees with you, Jerry. 2-2 is down and in, and it's a full count. 33 home runs on the year for Bautista, not far from 100 RBIs. Checks in with 96. John Gibbons with a half-game lead to start the night. DeMarlo Hale is bench coach alongside. And there's ball 4. Batista down to first base. A one-out walk. So a hit batter and a walk leading to the 2 men on here for the Blue Jays in the first inning. And Swihart out to talk to Henry Owens as they get ready to deal with Edwin Encarnacion. .268 with 30 home runs, 93 runs batted in. Blue Jays DH. Of his last 85 hits, 44 have gone for extra bases, 24 doubles, 20 home runs. As he has a chance to do some damage here, he's driven in a total of 25 runs in his last 15 games. And has 2 Jays aboard right now with 1 out here in the first inning. About 14 for his last 22 with runners in scoring position. Strike call, both runners taken off, and double steal has runners at second and third.
That's a little bit of a surprise because you get the power hitter at the plate, but they get a good jump on Owens and no place to throw the baseball, third base or second base.
So a double steal here with 1 down in the inning. And Encarnacion with a count of 1-1. And a swing and a miss, and a pitch headed down and away.
See the runner at first base, Batista. He's looking at Revere at second base. If he goes, I'm going. No need to look at the pitcher. He's not being held on.
In the dirt, Swihart does a good job of sliding to his left and keeping that from the backstop and saving a run.
Again, the fastball, one of the toughest ones to block because there's no spin on it. It doesn't come back to you. So a nice play there by Swihart.
Two balls, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the first inning. And a ground ball up the middle, ranging from second is Pedroia. He'll go to first for an out as a run scores. In from third comes Revere. And the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead. By the time Pedroia gathered that ground ball, he was on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, he was playing him to pull, obviously, and that gave him a chance to cover the ground to his right. And when the ball first was made contact, looked like it was going to head up the middle for a base hit, but then you look up and Pedroia's playing right there. So gets the out at first base. You see where Dustin is playing the pull. So only has about 5 steps to go to his right to make that play.
So the Blue Jays getting a run without the benefit of a hit in this inning. Hit batsman, a walk, a wild pitch, a couple of stolen bases. Batista at third base, and Troy Tulowitzki, 225 with 5 homers and 15 runs batted in since joining the Blue Jays from the Colorado Rockies. For Jose Reyes, and Tulowitzki batting out of the 5 spot for the Jays. Batista 90 feet away. Close pitch called the ball. Tulowitzki has been in the starting lineup. The Blue Jays have gone 27-7. Bouncing in, and again blocked by Swihart to keep it in front of him.
Yeah, that time was a changeup that Swihart blocks, and again it bounces out in front of home plate. Just in front of home plate, and Swihart gets it right off the chest protector, right at the feet of Tulowitzki.
Fouled straight back to the screen, evening the count at 2-2. You combine the numbers for Tulowitzki, 17 home runs on the year between Colorado and Toronto. 5 of which have come for the Jays, as Chris Colabello waiting on deck. Did not play in yesterday's game, but back in the lineup today and getting a start at first base for the Blue Jays. To second base, and Dustin Pedroia. He'll fire to first for the out. That will end the inning. The Blue Jays strike first, take a 1-0 lead. First inning, Blue Jays starting pitcher presented by New England Nissan dealers. Former Cy Young Award winner in the National League, R.A. Dickey. 29th appearance, 10-10 with a 4.09 ERA, 112 Ks to 57 walks. Opponent sitting at 252 against R.A. Dickey. His first pitch is in there for a strike. He's been throwing a lot more fastballs lately. Last time out against the Cleveland Indians, a win, a complete game, in fact. Gave up a run in his 9 innings of work. And got the win.
That time to knuckleball at 76 miles an hour.
Oh-2 pitch to Betts. And Mookie gets a piece, but a foul ball. Quickly, Josh Tolley jumped out there to grab it.
Now, the Red Sox have had their success against Dickey so far this season. He's made 4 starts against Boston. He's 0-3 with a 5.76 ERA.
On the ground towards Pennington at second base. And he throws out Betts for the first out here at the bottom of the first inning. Let's check out the Red Sox lineup, brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. This saw Mookie Betts. He's in center field tonight for the Red Sox with Dustin Pedroia back in the lineup, batting second. Bogarts, the shortstop. David Ortiz, the DH, with Travis Shaw at first base. Pablo Sandoval At third base, sliding down to the 6th spot with Brock Holt in left. Blake Swihart does the catching, and Jackie Bradley Jr. in right field bats 9th. Now the return of Pedroia, who fouls that one off the catcher Josh Tolley.
Now Pedroia going through a full workout before getting the green light this afternoon here at Fenway Park, and once he got through that workout, it was all systems go.
Placed on the DL July the 25th with a right hamstring strain, missed the last 42 games. This was the original injury in June, and of course tried to come back from that again and came back too early, as it turned out. And then back onto the DL on July the 25th. Swing and a miss, and Jerry, as you mentioned, no rehab games for him. He's just coming back again here at the big league level. How hard is it going to be for him timing-wise at the plate?
I think the consistency is probably going to take a while. You know, so if you get down to the minor leagues, sometimes you get, 12 at-bats? I mean, he'd come out and go 4 for 4 tonight, but the fact is, generally, when you go back for a rehab assignment, you're talking about maybe 3 games, 4 games, somewhere in that area. And then even when you get back to the big leagues, I mean, it takes some time. And to come back against a knuckleball pitcher.
1-2 pitch coming up here to Pedroia. And he goes lunging after that pitch and strikes out. First K for R.A. Dickey, 2 down.
The Blue Jays defense is brought to you by DraftKings. They are 8th in the American League, 75 errors on the season. Josh Donaldson at third base, Troy Tulowitzki the shortstop, Cliff Pennington at second, Chris Colabello the first baseman, left to right, Ben Revere, Kevin Pillar and Jose Batista, and Josh Tolley doing the catching for R.A. Dickey.
2 down here in the bottom of the first inning, brings up Xander Bogaerts. Xander didn't think so. Checks in, hitting at .318 in tonight's game. Bogaerts now 3rd in the American League in batting average. And down 0-2. Miguel Cabrera, the league leader right now at .360, with Michael Brantley, Cleveland Indians 2nd, then Bogaerts 3rd. Pops it up foul, off to the right out of play. R.A. Dickey tonight looking for his 100th career win in the major leagues. Ground ball to third. Donaldson on the run and in time to get Bogaerts. So 1-2-3 first for R.A. Dickey. A 1-0 Blue Jays lead after 1. Hashtag NESN Data Strong Fan, and you might just see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Tweet your photos now. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Might just be Pete Grenier, our A1 in audio. Pete Strong. As we head to the second inning with the Blue Jays on top 1-0. Chris Colabello leading it off here for Toronto. Colabello, Pilar, and Pennington to bat here in the second. And a drive to left field down the line, and a fair ball off the monster. Brock Holt over to play. Colabello into second base, standing with a double to begin the second inning.
You know, this happened to Owens a couple of times in the last game he started, where he missed his location with his fastball. This fastball is supposed to be away. You'll see the catcher Swihart set up away, but look where it ends up. Inside, and Colabello just hits this real hard down that left field line off the wall. That game that he pitched against the Yankees, missed a couple of locations very early in the game that really hurt him.
Colabello, the Framingham, Massachusetts native, at second base, now resides in Milford, Mass, as Kevin Pilar standing in, the center fielder, batting seventh. Batted ninth yesterday for the Jays. It's a .267 with 10 homers and 46 runs batted in. A double by Colabello is the first hit allowed by Owens on the night. Look out, bat goes into the seats. So Pilar is going to go with a new bat, and will probably offer it back to Pilar, but he's climbing in with a new bat right now. Lead at second base for Colabello. Nobody out here in the Blue Jays' second inning. Owens trying to find his way into some sort of groove here in this outing. Pitch in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. That's 15 games for the Blue Jays center fielder, toting that .350 average. We know what he can do defensively. He's made some amazing catches in center field this year for the Jays. Thought about it. May have held up. They're not going to check here, so it is 2-2.
Yeah, pretty good curveball that time by Owens. At least it gave Pilar something to think about, and he did check his swing, though. There's the breaking ball right there, and Pilar starts out after it, but does hold up. Get a better look there from the side, not even close to being a swing.
Reaches out, protects the plate, and fouls it off to the right out of play. The center fielder, Mookie Betts, over towards right center, well off the line, and left is Holt, and playing for Pilar to go the other way. Straightens him up. He'll see his seventh pitch. Pilar bats now. Cliff Pennington waiting on deck here for the Blue Jays. A different looking lineup today, facing a left-hander in Henry Owens. And a fly ball to shallow center field. In comes Betts. And Mookie will put it away for the first out of the inning. No advance for Colabello. Now, for every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CBS Pharmacy will make a donation to Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 commitment once again this season. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. Runner at second, one down. And Cliff Pennington, the batter, 2 for 22 so far with the Blue Jays. Came over from Arizona as he takes a pitch inside for ball one. Participated in 11 games since coming over from the Diamondbacks. A little bit low, and it's 2-0. Owens hit Ben Revere to begin the first inning. Revere would score on a groundout by Edwin Encarnacion. Jays left Bautista at third base in the first inning. Here's a drive to center field, sending Betts back towards the warning track. He'll backpedal to the edge of it to make the catch. And still not advancing is Colabello. He remains at second base with now 2 down.
Mookie Betts, you can see where he shaded to the opposite field. Had the ball's hit high enough so we get time to track it down. Now, as a base runner, if there's nobody out in the inning, that's one you want to tag on and go to third base. But with one out in the inning, you play it halfway in case the ball drops in and you can score. So the right base running made by Colabello.
He's at second with 2 down, and it is Josh Thole, the batter.
Contact, he thought maybe, but he's playing it halfway, as you can see. Goes back to tag up, but is not going to be able to go to third base. And that is the proper base running play right there. With one out or nobody out, you would be tagging up trying to get to third base with less than 2 outs.
See Dennis Leary, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Wright, and more at the 21st Annual Comics Come Home at the TD Garden on Saturday, November the 7th. Proceeds benefit the Cam Neely Foundation for Cancer Care. For tickets, visit Ticketmaster.com. Runner at second, 2 down. Josh Thole swings at the 0-1. Little pop-up. It'll get back and out of play. Thole, R.A. Dickey's regular catcher. And a .229 average. He is 8 for 35 coming into tonight's action. All right, Dickey with a 1-2-3 first inning on 13 pitches. Mixed in a strikeout. '40th pitch coming up here for Owens. And Thole hits one in the air to left center field. Over comes Holt to make the catch to end the inning. Leadoff double wasted by Colabello. 1-0 Toronto. Back at Fenway Park, and David Ortiz coming up, sitting on 497 home runs. Red Sox trailing by a run 1-0 as David comes to bat for the first time tonight. They are poised and ready as Ortiz climbs into the box. Takes ball one from R.A. Dickey. David with 31 home runs on the season to go along with 87 RBIs and a .270 batting average. Jumps back out of the way of the pitch, down and in, and it's 2-0.
Well, he's with 3 career home runs against R.A. Dickey.
On the ground to first base, gathered by Colabello. Will take it himself for the first out here of the second inning. Well, it's easy to start earning DD Perk rewards. Download the Dunkin' mobile app and enroll any DD card and perks right on the app. Message and data rates may apply. For full terms of use, visit DunkinDonuts.com. Red Sox Nation runs on Dunkin'. One out here in the second inning brings up Travis Shaw. Shaw, who's been batting out of the number 5 spot. .273 with 8 homers and 19 runs batted in. Drive to right field for Shaw, down towards the corner and gone. Home run number 9 of the year for Shaw with one swing of the bat ties the game 1-1.
Now that is the 23rd home run that Dickey has given up this season. That looks like the fastball right there. No knuckleball. And Shaw was ready for it. A lot of times you go up there against a knuckleball pitcher and just thinking about the knuckleball, sometimes they sneak the fastball by you.
Now a liner picked on the backhand by Tulowitzki off the bat of Sandoval. He's barely out of the box, and he is out number 2. Now, for every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown will donate $500 to the Cystic Fibrosis Multiple Sclerosis Fund. Alltown is New England's premier healthier convenience retailer. Now, Travis Shaw with his 9th home run. 2 down here in the second inning brings up Brock Holt. Brock dropping down to the 7 spot in the Red Sox order now. .282, 2 homers, 38 runs batted in. And moving to the outfield. Tonight getting the start in left field. And it is, as Alex Spear points out, the first time since June the 24th that he has made an appearance in the outfield.
Another fastball there from Dickey at 82 miles an hour.
Three and 1. And a ground ball towards Tulowitzki, kind of rounds behind it, and the throw off balance, but effective and in time. A run on the home run by Travis Shaw has tied the game. Honoring the 75 season in their 138th game, the Red Sox lost to Milwaukee 4-2. Bill Spaceman Lee took the loss, going 5 2/3, allowing 8 hits and all 4 of the Brewers' runs. Well, Travis Shaw has given the Red Sox a run tonight, tying this game 1-1 with his solo shot to the right field corner. Alex Spear, the Boston Globe, alongside as we head here into the 3rd inning. Alex, great to see you.
Good to see you guys as well. Thanks very much.
Now, the Red Sox on quite a run here the last couple of days, and really over the last couple of weeks have been playing much better baseball, and this is sort of, I think, what they had planned on for the season, but working out right now.
Yeah, naturally it happens after the guy who put together the blueprint is no longer the one putting together the blueprint. But it has been a really interesting stretch in which we're all of a sudden seeing so much of the young talent come together at the same time. And, you know, the contributions from a guy like a Shaw, I think, qualify as a bit of a surprise. But, you know, really everything qualifies as a surprise. Who could have expected Jackie Bradley Jr. to hit like Babe Ruth for the better course of a month? You know, he's already exceeded the number of extra base hits he had last year, the number of home runs he had, the number of RBIs he had, and he's only played about 1/3 of the games. So I can't recall seeing such a drastic one year to the next reversal. I don't know if you guys have other comparisons in mind.
No, you know, I was thinking last night, and I said, it sounds a little crazy, but this is a team right now that teams don't want to play because they do have this young talent. They're playing the game hard. They're playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, and there's no give up, you know, because they're out of the pennant race. I mean, so they're out here fighting every single day to prove themselves at the major league level, and that's a little bit intimidating to teams they're playing.
There's a freedom that comes with where they are in the standings. Nothing is expected from them, and so there's, you know, they don't face down that kind of season-ending pressure. They get to be loose and just kind of let their abilities flow. That's part of the reason why you hear people talk all the time about September being a terrible time to evaluate young players, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I get that it's a difficult time to evaluate player makeup because the stress of these games isn't that big of a departure from what they faced in the minor leagues when player development was the focus. But what you can see crystal clear are the tools that guys have if they're capable of hitting on their upside. So our view of Jackie Bradley Jr. should be very different, even though these games aren't necessarily, you know, with first place on the line.
But the fact is, though, they are playing teams, you know, like Toronto. Obviously, they got 4 more against the Yankees. Teams that are fighting for something serious, and they're coming out with their best game every single night, and the Red Sox have to try to match that. So, I mean, I think that it is a good judge this month because of the competition that they're playing.
And it's kind of strange because all throughout the season we've seen them. There's a changeup, which is Owens' best pitch. He seems to have that a little better tonight than he's had it the last couple of games. But all season, it seems like they've played to their level of competition. They play the Royals, and they play them great for a few games at a time. They've played, you know, the best teams in the National League at various stretches. The Astros, they've looked their best against the best teams.
Well, you mentioned Travis Shaw, and he has really been pretty impressive since taking over. Really, after Napoli was traded, he has had the chance to play on a daily basis. What do you think his future is going to be like for next year?
That's a really interesting question. I think that so much of that revolves around what happens with Hanley Ramirez and the question of whether or not they make a determination about his suitability for first base, or whether or not they find a trade partner who would move Hanley somewhere else and thus open up the position. If you think about how this lineup is starting to kind of stack up, it does look like it has the potential to be a pretty deep lineup, in which case you can afford to take a shot on a guy like Shaw, who's shown interesting upside, but who doesn't have that lengthy track record that would allow you to say, okay, he's definitely going to deliver this. There are, however, some other free agents who are out there. Chris Davis comes to mind, obviously, as one of the foremost straight power guys in the major leagues. But, you know, if you're thinking about not having Hanley Ramirez there, then you're probably going to be paying Hanley Ramirez a pretty good amount of money not to be paying for you. And then you have to figure out whether or not you'd want to dive deep into the pockets in order to pay someone else a lot to play first. So I think Shaw has certainly played himself into the mix going forward. At the least, doesn't he seem kind of Daniel Nava-ish between his ability to move around the field, first base, third base, maybe a little left, and a left-handed bat who can deliver something? There's a role for him going forward.
You mentioned Hanley Ramirez, and I guess the question is now with him on the DL, is high and deep to left field, down the line towards the pole. It is a foul ball, fortunately for the Red Sox.
I think they're going to check on this. John Gibbons quickly out of the dugout.
Donaldson wanted him to challenge it, and we'll see if John Gibbons does.
I think that's why Josh Donaldson calls himself bringer of rain.
That was quite towering.
Let's take another look and see if we can make a decision on this fly ball. Way out of camera range right now.
We're having trouble seeing it.
Yeah. Owens thought it was foul, but Luis Rivera thought it was fair, and they all got to look at it.
Give Owens credit for knowing to play the body English, though.
I think it's foul.
Now that's the first base camera, though, right? Over to our right.
Yeah, so it is a little bit off angle.
Yeah. That is tough.
That's very tough. Yeah.
That is tough.
We can confirm that it was far.
Yeah, look, it was high.
It was
and
definitely
far.
high enough. So let's see. Let's see if they get any better looks than what we have had. As the Blue Jays challenge here. How do you think the challenging has been going this year? You think what tweaks need to be made in this system, if any, in your estimation?
It's a really good question. It just feels like it's interrupted the flow of the game a lot more than anyone would have wanted. I mean, the feeling was we get to see it so quickly when it's happening during the broadcasts for all these years, where it feels like, okay, no problem, bang, bang. It's, there's the view of, oh, yes, the call was blown. And I think that there was a big expectation that maybe there would be 30-second overturns.
Yep.
And instead we're having these kind of, 3 to 5 minute conferences. That really do take, here's Henry Owens taking some warm-up tosses because the flow of the game has been impeded pretty significantly.
They're going to stick with foul, so a foul ball, and the challenge lost by the Blue Jays.
But if there are more calls that are right, it's difficult to argue with it, even if it does interrupt the flow. It's, can you imagine having the, losing the pennant, or think back to Game 6 of the 1985 World Series between the Royals and Cardinals, when Don Denkinger blows the call at first base that sets in motion the Royals' game-winning rally. That's a World Series title that would have been decided differently if there had been replay in place.
Well, Alex, the one thing we haven't touched upon is the Red Sox pitching, and we got a couple of guys that have really turned things around here late in the season. And when you see that, it's going to make it a lot more difficult as you enter the off season, saying what do we really need as far as starting pitching goes. We know we need a revamp bullpen. That's going to be topic number one.
Unquestionably. I mean, the reality is they clearly don't have an established front of the rotation guy going forward. They have some guys who have shown interesting stuff. What Kelly has shown has been really intriguing, especially given the way his different pitches move. There is something fascinating about him as an upside play, and he was a guy who was probably going to lose his rotation spot, but for the fact that Brian Johnson had a poorly timed injury with his elbow. Beyond that, Rick Porcello's obviously looked very different, and Wade Miley has been really very much the pitcher that he was throughout his career with the Diamondbacks. You have a lot of guys. Well, Eduardo Rodriguez clearly is a staple of the rotation going forward, but they need that guy who they can kind of have a predicted, well above average performance and predicted 200 innings from. And among those guys, there's upside, but they don't have that kind of stability, that anchor. So, I think that it's inevitable that there's going to be some kind of pretty aggressive move made to add to the starting rotation. And then it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the pieces fall. Do you then consider moving Kelly to the bullpen, as good as he's been in the rotation since the beginning of August? Do you put Owens, say, back down in AAA in order to give him a little bit more seasoning, which might not be the end of the world? We've seen him being prone to some home runs at the major league level. He's close, though. There are a lot of different options that are created once you do add someone in front of all of the guys who they have.
I started to ask about Hanley Ramirez before the review check that we had there. And by the way, that was not a challenge by the Blue Jays. That was a crew chief challenge. They still have their challenge in place. But I started to ask about Hanley. Do you think we are going to see Hanley for the remainder of the year? Right now he's on the DL, and everybody kind of chomping at the bit to see him at first base. Will we see him there?
I don't have a good feel for it, because Hanley says that he's, that he is going to be back out there, but Dave Dombrowski said that it's something less than 100% that he will be able to return before the end of the season, which you kind of have to exercise that measure of caution. If you're putting him on the DL at this point, there's an ongoing injury at this point. So, we too often see an assumption, oh yeah, he'll be back, and then a guy rushes to be back and ends up with a more severe injury than what he already has. I do think that if we don't get a chance to see him, at first base, that's an awfully tough thing to commit to the idea of him at first base, given the challenges that he's faced in adapting to a new position this year.
Why do you think it was necessary to put him on the DL rather than just carry him on the expanded roster?
It is a fair question, and one that doesn't have an obvious answer. The way in which Dave Dombrowski put it was to kind of protect all of us from ourselves. There is that rush when you don't have a deadline or when you don't have a fixed absence, then there can be that rush. Oh, I've got to get back in 2 days or 3 days. There are kind of artificial timetables that start creeping into the conversation about a guy's recovery pattern that can ultimately be to the detriment of the player trying to get healthy again.
I totally agree with that, because I've been in those situations where you have not been put on a disabled list, and every day that you walk in, how is it today? How is it today? And it takes time, and I think that's one of the reasons they did it, just to keep people away from Hanley, let him get better, and when he's ready to play, let him play.
Well, thinking about it in another context, so how differently might Jacoby Ellsbury have been viewed if after he had that car wreck with Adrian Beltre in 2010, if he had been put on the DL immediately as opposed to waiting 10 games, I think, and kind of every day being like, oh, are you getting close? Are you getting close? Well, he had 4 broken ribs, but we didn't know it at the time. He didn't know it at the time. And it really colors perception about how a guy is working his way through injury.
Bautista striking out, second strikeout of the inning, second strikeout of the outing.
That might be the first slider that Owens has thrown in the game tonight. You can see the break on it, and completely fooling Bautista. He was way out in front of that slider that time.
That was a weird kind of slider, though. It almost had like a little bit of fade, like a changeup. I don't.
It had the slider rotation on it, but it was off speed, no question about that.
2 down, Josh Donaldson at first base, Edwin Encarnacion the batter. Your thoughts on the American League East as it stands right now? The Yankees and Blue Jays going head to head.
Pretty fascinating. I mean, it's the fact that really these are both veteran teams. They're not really necessarily the template of what we see around baseball with other teams like the Astros and Cubs are doing it with younger players. These are 2 teams that have veteran cores, and they've been really, really productive veteran cores. And the just kind of go for it attitude of the Blue Jays as a contrast to the Yankees, who kind of made some adjustments, but it was more around the periphery of the roster. That's pretty interesting at a time when the Yankees could be in trouble with Eovaldi on the DL or on the sidelines.
Foul ground and a play. Shaw makes that play that ends the inning, tied 1-1. Alex, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, guys.
Card playoff. Text 1 for yes. Text 2 for no. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. One message per vote. Visit NESN.com/terms for terms and conditions and privacy policy.
I don't like it.
No.
I'd like to see a 2 out of 3.
This one fouled off down the left field line, out of play. I would agree with you. I think 1 is just
it's too much.
Tough.
Yeah, it's too much. And, you play 162 to go down to 1.
And you have a bad taste in your mouth about 1-game playoffs.
Oh, I
know that. I know. You got a little bit of a grudge when it comes to 1-game playoffs after 162.
I do.
It's very fresh, even though it was quite some time ago. Here is the AL wildcard scenario right now as it stands. And the Twins still in the mix. As this one is fouled off down the left field line, out of play. Blake Swihart at the dish here and leading it off. Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts to follow here in the 3rd inning. In there for strike 3. Swihart knew it. Takes with him the 2nd strikeout for R.A. Dickey.
You mentioned the fact on early throwing more fastballs, and that's been the case tonight. This is a fastball from Dickey inside part of the plate. 84 miles an hour, surprising Blake Swihart.
One down here in the 3rd inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. stands in, batting out of the 9 spot. And taking a pitch for a strike at the arm side of the way, but it picks up that inside corner. 312, 8 homers, 36 runs batted in. Healthy hack there has him down 0-2.
There's a different kind of knuckleball. That knuckleball's slower at 67.
Swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikeouts for Dickey, 2 down.
Back to the knuckleball again, this time a little bit harder, and you see the bottom kind of fall out of that right there. And back-to-back strikeouts, 1 on a fastball, 1 on a knuckleball.
2-way for Mookie Betts. He grounded out to second base in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. DraftKings.com is paying out over $300 million this baseball season. DraftKings has given out $34 million to Boston residents alone since the site launched. Get your free entry into a 1-day fantasy baseball contest today using promo code NESN. 4 in a row retired by Dickey, 2 by way of the K in a row. Betts fights that off, foul.
There is the red and blue caps that they're giving away tonight at the ballpark. Sharp looking cap, isn't it?
It is. You like the hat, you didn't like the jersey.
Didn't like the jersey and didn't like the results of that hat either.
No. 1-2 pitch. On the ground up the middle and into center field. A 2-out base hit for Mookie Betts. 2nd hit of the ball game for Boston.
Now Mookie now with a 14-game hitting streak. Came into the game a .353 average against R.A. Dickey. Knuckleball a little bit flat that time from Dickey, and right back up the middle goes Betts. Let's see if he tries to get in a scoring position at second base with an attempted steal.
A new career high in hit streak for Betts with his 14th gamer now. And this pitch is in there for a strike to Dustin Pedroia, his 2nd at bat since returning off the disabled list. Pedroia struck out swinging in the 1st inning. 1 of 3 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey. Check on Betts, back to the bag. Back to the mound, Dickey fields and throws for the out that ends the 3rd inning. We're headed to the 4th in a 1-1 ball game from Fenway. Sign up for a free checking account with Eastern Bank and get $100. Just text money to 36698. Message and data rates may apply. On to the fourth inning back at Fenway Park. Game tied 1-1. Troy Tulowitzki gets hit with the first pitch from Henry Owens. This is the second inning of the first four that Owens has hit the leadoff hitter to begin an inning.
I think that got him right off the elbow where he's got that padding. We'll take another look. It's a fastball inside. I think it did. That left elbow that he has covered up with padding.
Heading into this game tonight, Henry Owens had not hit anybody. And tonight has hit two Blue Jays. First guy hit, Ben Revere, in the first inning, came around to score the Blue Jays run. There is Chris Colabello, who doubled off the wall and left in the second inning. And a swing and a miss for strike one. Colabello over the last 21 games hitting at .390. In the dirt, gathered by Swihart. No advance at first base for Tulowitzki. Born in Framingham, resides in Milford, does Colabello. He's had a very good year for the Toronto Blue Jays. Did not play yesterday, back in there in tonight's game. The left-hander Henry Owens on the mound. His previous major league experience for Colabello with the Minnesota Twins each of the last 2 years. Last year hitting at .229 in 56 games with the Minnesota Twins. Attended Assumption College in Worcester, Massachusetts. A graduate of Milford High School as he bats with Troy Tulowitzki at first base. Outside, 2-2.
See, he goes back to the changeup. The two strikes that he's got on Colabello so far have been on the changeup. This time he goes with the fastball upstairs. See if he comes back with the off-speed pitch back down.
'70th pitch for Owens. Fifth full count of the night, and that's been part of the pitch count problem for Owens. He's not retired anybody yet in the fourth inning, so 3+ at 70 pitches. Not a very big lead for Tulowitzki, who gets back very easily.
Three-two changeup.
And it's called strike three. Colabello didn't think so. It spins out of the box, says some things to Jim Reynolds, and takes with him the third strikeout for Henry Owens.
I thought that ball was too low, and it was borderline. There's no question about that. But there's the changeup. And you see where the catcher catches it. It looks like it's very low. Where does it go across the plate? Very low.
Yeah, I think it was all low.
It was very low. Certainly Owens will take that.
Yeah. Colabello saying that was down, and he was right. One down, one on, and Kevin Pillar, the batter, another check at first base, and again, Tulowitzki back to the bag. Pillar flied out to the center fielder Mookie Betts in the second inning, 0 for 1. This thing away for ball one. At a much slower pace tonight for Henry Owens. Methodically trying to get through this Blue Jays lineup. Liner to center field. That's in for a base hit. Tulowitzki will take second base as Pilar aboard here. And now the Blue Jays have runners at first and second with one down. Let's check in with Guerin.
Thanks, Don. I talked to Mookie Betts before the game, and he told me that he's having a lot of fun playing with Jackie Bradley Jr. Betts said that they have a special bond because Bradley was his first roommate in the minors. Now, Betts said that he sees Bradley as one of the best and that he actually makes him a better player. Now, Don, Jerry, Betts also told me that Bradley was a perfect roommate. He kept everything clean, and they had a really good rotation. When one was sleeping, the other one would play video games, and then they'd switch.
Well, certainly, you make a lot of bonds in the minor leagues. And that's where sometimes you make your best friends in the minor leagues going up through the system. A lot of long bus rides and sharing a room together on the road. Certainly, you get to the major league, a little bit different, a little bit more business-like perhaps than it is in the minor leagues.
You kind of go separate ways unless you're on a road trip or something like that. But, yeah, the minor leagues are pretty special in that regard.
This is fouled off to the right out of play.
Heck, you know, Don, you spent years and years on a bus
10 years
going to a lot of different places, and you get very close to people.
It is a nice way to see the country.
Yes.
However, you will see a lot of it from your bus window,
especially at night when you're traveling at night. It's just absolutely beautiful.
2 on, 1 away. Cliff Pennington, the batter, down 0-2. And a ground ball towards third base. Sandoval will go to second for one, on to first. Not in time, but nicely picked on the backhand there by Shaw. May have saved a run. Just getting to that ball and being able to make the catch on a hop. They do get the runner at second and Pilar for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Pilar put a good hard slide too on Pedroia at second base, and that's one of the reasons the throw's going to go a little bit wild at first base. You see Pedroia right there, and Pilar's right on top of him, upends him. And you can hear the guy coming when he's that close. And Shaw has to come off that bag right there. Smart move by Shaw coming off the bag to make sure the ball doesn't get by him.
So first and third, 2 down. Josh Tolley, the batter, he flied out to left field his first time up. You know, it's weird, Jerry. Just thinking about the minor leagues. I've known John Gibbons for 25 years. John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays, and I were together with the Pittsfield Mets back in 1991.
Yeah.
And spent a summer together in the Berkshires. And he was a roving instructor for the most part at that point for the Mets. This one is popped up foul. Back comes Swihart, and he will not have a play. It's on the screen. You truly do make your friends, I think, in the minor leagues, because it's a time where everybody wants to get to the big leagues, but you got to do this to get there.
I'd say an embarrassing moment, you know, and we were just in New York, you know, sitting in the lobby of the hotel, and a gentleman comes up to me and introduces himself, and he says, "Do you remember me?" And I said, I'm looking at him, and I go, you know, and he worked for the hotel.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I did not remember him at all. And he says, "Well, do you remember Orlando Ramirez?" I said, "Of course, he was my shortstop in El Paso." He says, "Well, I was on that team."
Wow.
And I had no idea, you know, and it was, I mean, he was a great guy. We started talking about old times and all that, but, you know, it's amazing how many people you run into.
Right.
Those who don't make it.
Yes.
And all of a sudden
more of them
show up, you know, I mean, in the lobby of the hotel in New York. He works for the hotel. Also from Colombia.
2 pitches going to miss. Where was that now? El Paso? Is that where you were?
El Paso was AA, yes. You talk about bus rides.
Oh, there's a few in the Texas League.
Wow.
Spent a little bit of time. I will say this, though, for the bus rides. When you get there, your bags are underneath the bus. You get right to your room. I can start the unpacking process immediately.
You don't have much of a bag either.
Well, that's the other thing. There's a pop-up left side that has Sandoval right around the bag at third and now into foul ground. He'll put it away. Owens out of the jam. This game remains tied through 3.5. here to make your banking and your day easier. See how at easternbank.com. Here, your first Eastern Bank. Now it's on to the bottom of the fourth inning back at Fenway Park. Good ball game so far. 1-1 the score. 2 hits for both sides. And back to the mound is R.A. Dickey. Xander Bogaerts getting his second look at R.A. Dickey tonight. Grounded out to third base back in the first inning. It'll be Bogaerts, Ortiz, and Shaw here in the fourth. Strike call, 1-1.
Bogaerts questioning that call, but right at the top of the strike zone and inside.
Now Henry Owens had to throw a lot of pitches through the first 4 innings. He's thrown 80. Well, Dickey has just gotten up over 40 at the moment. 1-2 pitch. And that'll flutter a little high. 2-2. Red Sox getting their run on a home run by Travis Shaw in the second inning. Kevin Pillar, the center fielder, over towards right center. Good sized gap out in left center. Up the middle, and it's picked by Pennington with a good throw to get Bogaerts at first base.
I believe that ball was slowed up by R.A. Dickey. I think he got a piece of his glove first, and that gave Pennington a chance to get to it. Let's take another look. Maybe a little deflection right there to slow it up, and Pennington covering the ground to get the out at first base.
Yes. Yep. Right off the glove.
Certainly did. And that slowed it up just enough for the second baseman to be able to make the play.
So 1-4 to 3, and now Ortiz with a shift on, fouling it off to the left out of play. David 0 for 1, grounded out to the first baseman, Chris Colabello, in the second inning. Ortiz thought about it. Did he go? They check. No, he did not, says Manny Gonzalez down there at third base. 497 home runs for Big Papi. And a swing and a miss.
I think Ortiz hurt his hand a little bit on this swing.
A little bit high. Same spot as the last one. This time he doesn't swing. Fouled off to the left out of play. The Red Sox family 4-packs are back, and this special package fans will get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas for $75. Great deal is even available for Red Sox hat night and Fred Lynn bobblehead night. There's a 2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Ortiz strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey. 2 down.
There's a change of speed again on the knuckleball. You know, he goes from that harder knuckleball to the softer one, then this one at 69 miles an hour. Still elevated, top of the strike zone, but it takes a lot off it. So you've got the change of speeds on the knuckleball plus the fastball from R.A. Dickey. Backswing getting a piece of Tolley, the catcher.
Big Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. 2 down for Travis Shaw. That's a ground ball back to Dickey, a very good fielding pitcher who throws to first base and ends the 4th inning. We're headed to the 5th, tied 1-1. presented with a check for $3.5 million. This year's proceeds from the WEI Ness and Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon. Since the telethon began in 2002, over $40 million has been raised for patient care and research at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Rose Marakian on the field representing Nesson as part of that check presentation. Great director of Boston Bruins hockey.
And a tireless worker in the Jimmy Fund.
There's Rose in the middle. Wally needs no introduction. He's on the left. As this one is going to miss low, and it is now quickly 3-0 to Ben Revere. Revere hit by a pitch, scored the Blue Jays run in the first inning, came in on a ground out. There's a generous strike call. He almost hit him again. So the pitch inside. Revere's already been hit. And he is on here with a walk to begin things in the inning.
Yeah, it's been a strange night for him. Hit by a pitch, a strikeout, and then almost got him again. Hit a lead off the fifth inning.
This is the fourth time in 5 innings the Blue Jays have had the lead runner on.
That's living dangerously for Henry Owens.
Working without a net. Huh? What do you think?
Pretty good stuff.
Josh Donaldson stands in and fouls it off to the right out of play. It's in my repertoire. I just haven't run it out there all that often.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
Really? Working without a net. And slings it over to first base and Revere back. Donaldson has lined out to Brock Holt in left and walk tonight, batting out of the 2 spot. And swings at the 0-1, deep short. Bogaerts will go to second base for 1, on to first for 2. Well, they erased that walk on the double play.
Well done, both by Bogaerts to quickly get that ball to Pedroia, and Pedroia turning it over with Rivera coming in pretty close to him. There's a quick release by Bogaerts and over the top too, which really gave a good throw to Pedroia to be able to turn this ball over. That's exactly where you want that feed, just about the letter high, and that's exactly where Bogaerts got it.
Bautista swing of the first pitch. Skies one to right. Playable for Bradley Jr. Moves in and takes care of out number 3. We're halfway through, tied 1-1. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, it's been a very nice night here in Boston after a very warm day in Boston today. Started game time temperature at 80 degrees. Feels like it's cooled off a little bit more than that as the night has gone on. And it's a 1-1 ball game to the bottom of the fifth as Pablo Sandoval, Brock Holt, and Blake Swihart scheduled to bat here in the fifth. Sandoval lining out to Tulowitzki, shortstop in the second. Now lifts a fly ball to left. Revere going back onto the track, and it's going to be high off the wall. Played by Revere, but Pablo into second base with a leadoff double.
El Pedroia coming back, and Sandoval moving from that 2 spot back down in the order. Actually, with this ball left the bat, I didn't think it was going to get the carry that it did. That ball was down and in on Sandoval. You can see it moving down and in, but he still gets the barrel of the bat on it. And at the top of the green monster. Revere tracks it down, and Sandoval in second base with a leadoff double in the fifth.
I was writing down the lineup, Jerry, and as I was writing it down, Pablo was over my shoulder, and he was pointing at the 2 spot that was now taken by Pedroia, and he said, "Who is that guy?"
I know he was getting on it pretty good today. Yeah,
it's all over him.
He's been out for 3 months, and now you're hitting second.
Yeah. Now Pedroia is back in his rightful spot, batting second in the Red Sox order. Back in the Red Sox lineup and at second base. He's already had 2 at-bats tonight. Strikeout and a ground out so far. The 1-1 pitch coming to Brock Holt. And it's on the ground to short. Tulowitzki looked at third but throws to first for the out as Sandoval takes third base.
That's actually a very good play by Sandoval because, you know, it doesn't have to be a ground ball to the right side. If that ball sits slow to the shortstop, there's no way he can spin and get you at third base. So very good base running here by Sandoval. Even though the ball's right at him, he knows Tulowitzki's going to come in for it. And from that position there, he can't spin around and throw him out at third base. Now the infield comes in for the Blue Jays with Swihart at the plate.
Swihart to left. Revere coming in to make the catch and fires homeward and has it cut off. That hung up just long enough for him to make the grab in the air on a liner by Swihart. There are 2 outs in the inning.
And I thought it was going to drop in, but you're right, Don. It stayed up long enough, and you can see a pretty good jumping coming in for Revere out there in left field. And from that point, you really can't tag and score. Well, it's a big glove he's using out there in left field. He's probably going back to tag up, but that's really just to draw a throw.
So now the infield can back up with the 2 outs for the Jays. Jackie Bradley Jr. coming up. Visit to the mound by Tolley to R.A. Dickey. Bradley a strikeout victim in the third as he went swinging. 1 of 4 strikeouts tonight for R.A. Dickey. Similar scenario tonight in New York and the Bronx. No score between the Orioles and the Yankees. They're in the 5th now. And there's a pitch high for ball 1. Scoreless in the Bronx with a half a game between the 2 teams. On the ground softly towards first. Colabello is going to pick and tag the bag to end the inning, and the Red Sox leave Sandoval at third. Game tied 1-1 through 5. And stain-resistant fabrics for carefree enjoyment year after year. Available in hundreds of durable fabrics so you can enjoy your furniture for years to come. Don't worry. Be happy with Sunbrella Fabrics at Jordan's Furniture. Visit Jordans.com for details. 90th pitch for Owens is a fly ball out to left center field. Brock Holt coming from left to take care of out number one. So Edwin Encarnacion retired for the first out of the 6th inning. Brings up Troy Tulowitzki with one down in the inning. Through the legs and into center field. As getting out of the way of that was Owens. And it's into center for a one-out base hit. First hit of the night for Tulowitzki. Second time he's been on. Henry Owens' pitching line is brought to you by Ace Ticket. 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run. He has walked 3, struck out 3, and at 91 pitches through 5 1/3 innings.
Owens looked like he was walking on hot coals trying to make a play on this ground ball. Right back up the middle and right through his
right there. Chris Colabello standing in. And he takes a pitch low for ball 1. There is action for the Red Sox. It's like Gene Machi is going to start warming up. Red Sox infield at double play depth with 1 out and 1 on. And time call going to charge Owens with a balk. And Tulowitzki will take second base.
They must have started up and then stopped. See if we can pick it up on replay. Owens looking in for the sign. Now does he start up and then stop? There's a little movement right there. Yep. Just the slightest. And once you start going up like that, you have to come into that set position without stopping.
Well, tune in to Bruins Summer Face-Off Live Wednesday night at 5. Billy Jaffe and Barry Peterson will analyze the Bruins and Canadiens rivalry. Bruins Summer Face-Off Live is presented by New England Nissan dealers. 1 out, 1 on as Chris Colabello, the batter. You look at the numbers so far for Owens at 92 pitches in the game tonight, now up over his average. 108 his season and career high. 1-0 to Colabello is inside for ball 2. Colabello has doubled, and last time up struck out looking, did not like it at all. Appeared the ball was low and he was not pleased. Rung up by Jim Reynolds, home plate umpire. Now it's 3-0 and a pitch that was higher than the one that he was rung up on.
Colabello just might have the green light here on the 3-0 count. Look out.
Kevin Pillar waiting on deck. 7th 3-ball count for Henry Owens in this game. In the dirt, and it gets away. Trying for third is Tulowitzki, and he will get there without a problem. On the walk to Colabello and a pitch in the dirt. So likely a wild pitch. And it is a wild pitch.
That ball bouncing straight up in the air, and a good read at second base by Tulowitzki to get into third base. Just a fastball down that hits behind the plate and off the heel of the glove of Blake Swihart.
Here comes Torey Lovullo with runners at first and third and 1 out. And Machi has not been up for very long.
Maybe that's why Lovullo's walking so slowly out to the mound.
I've seen Torey walk a lot, and that is the slowest walk I've seen from Torey. And he's going to make the move. So the pitching change here With one out of the sixth inning, Blue Jays threatening. First and third will step aside. This 1-1 game, responsible for Tulowitzki at third base, Colabello at first base with one out. He'll be a spectator now. As the Red Sox go to the pen, Gene Machi into his 16th game. Without a record, a 7.43 earned run average, 10 strikeouts, 7 walks, and opponents hitting at .255 against Machi. 3 runs, 4 hits in 2/3 of an inning on Friday night against Philadelphia. It's the last time that he worked. Started the 9th inning in that game and was lifted for Robbie Ross Jr. Ended up picking up the save in that game against the Phillies. Tulowitzki at third, Colabello at first. And Kevin Pillar takes strike one. Pillar has flied out to center and singled to center. 1 for 2 night for the Blue Jays center fielder. Throw to first, and kind of lunging back that time was Colabello. 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts. Not known for his speed. Outside to Pillar, and it evens at 1-1.
Is that split finger fastball from Machi? He's basically fastball split type of pitcher.
There's action behind him in the Red Sox pen as the left-hander Tommy Lane warms up.
There's a split grip right there from Machi.
Now ground ball towards shortstop. Bogarts to second for 1. On to first for 2. Huge double play. Machi getting out of the jam here in the 6th inning. Game tied 1-1. A boot available at Men's Warehouse. Tom Kern will be joined by the guy on the left, the Boston Globe's Alex Spear. We'll talk about the Red Sox plethora of young talent. I'm pretty sure that Alex wrote that copy also, because plethora is in there, and
it's not your vocabulary.
Those are the kinds of words that Alex uses on a regular basis. This is chopped to third. It is a fair ball, and Donaldson gets it there in plenty of time to retire Mookie Betts for the first out here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Let's grab a game break brought to you by Jordan's. Let's check in with Tom Karen. TC. So not a plethora of runs in that ball game tonight. Same thing here. Game tied 1-1 here at the moment as Pedroia bats with one out, his third at bat. He has struck out, grounded back to the mound. Drive to left for Pedroia. Back goes Revere onto the warning track, and it is off the wall. The ricochet will be backed up by the center fielder Pilar. It's a double off the wall for Dustin Pedroia.
Well, it took Pedroia 2 at-bats to get back in the groove, and he finds that left field wall on the knuckleball right there. Knuckleball stayed middle of the plate, and Pedroia takes it off the left field wall for the double. Good concentration there by Pedroia, staying on that pitch as long as he possibly could, and gets it over the jump of Revere out there in left field.
So Pedroia at second base, one out here in the 6th inning, and Xander digging in. Bogaerts tonight 0 for 2. He's grounded out to third, grounded back to the mound. And this one kicks off Tolley, but not far enough for Pedroia to try it. R.A. Dickey's pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. R.A. Dickey 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run. Hasn't walked anybody, struck out 4. 65 pitches thrown by Dickey. Almost ducked into that pitch as it jumped back at him. 2-0. Pretty good shot right there. David Ortiz waiting on deck. Strike called, and the framing there by Tolley for the strike call right at the bottom of the zone.
A very good pitch here by Dickey. They're keeping that knuckleball down. It dipped at the end.
3-1 to Xander.
See the catcher try to bring this one down into the strike zone, but the umpire, Reynolds, would have none of it.
Ball 4, and there's the first walk of the night, delivered by R.A. Dickey. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your photos now, brought to you by T-Mobile. One down, 2 on here in the bottom of the 6th inning as David Ortiz 0 for 2 tonight against R.A. Dickey. Grounded out to first base in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th inning. Up and away for ball 1. Action for the Jays in the pen. Brett Cecil about to start warming up out there. Used in a number of different capacities for the Jays over the years. David with a mighty swing, but a miss. 1-1.
He's trying to use that short, quick stroke against the knuckleball Dickey.
Fouls it off, down 1-2. Dustin Pedroia at second base. Xander Bogaerts at first. One out here in the Boston sixth inning. Inside out swing, and it is popped up foul off to the left.
That knuckleball was almost like a curveball towards Cheese. The way it broke back in on his hands. Just really tie it up, David.
Two and two. '75th pitch. And it's popped up. Shortstop Tulowitzki to short left. Infield fly rule in effect, even though he's out in left field to make the catch. 2 down. That'll bring up Travis Shaw. A big out there for R.A. Dickey. Travis Shaw supplying the Red Sox run tonight. His home run, his 9th of the year, back in the second inning. Shaw will take a pitch inside for ball one.
Yeah, the pitch Shaw hit for a home run back in the second inning. That was a fastball. There's that fastball from Dickey, and Shaw hits his 9th home run of the season. Gave the Red Sox, well, tied the score, I should say, at 1-1 at that point.
Pedroia at second base. Bogaerts at first. 2 down here in the 6th inning. Now a knuckles outside. 2-0. Three and 0. 4th 3-ball count for Dickey. See if Shaw has a green light here. Whether or not get another fastball from Dickey, we'll see. No, and it's in there for a strike. 3-1.
I think Dickey thinking along the same lines as you, Don. Possible green light. Not going to give in with the fastball. That's what he took me out of the park on. Go to the knuckleball.
Pete Walker on the phone to the pen. Fly ball headed out towards left center, and from left comes Ben Revere. Makes the catch, and Dickey's out of the jam. The Red Sox strand the pair. We're through 6, tied 1-1. we asked, do you like the one-game wild card playoff? And the fans answered they do not, 71%. And Jerry thinking along the lines, it's too short, the one-game playoff. You need more. Need more.
I think so. I think 2 out of 3 is good.
Cliff Pennington leading it off. Gene Machi back on the mound here for the top of the 7th inning. I'll say one thing. It is a very exciting game. The one-game playoff. As this is a one-hopper picked by Bogaerts. Picks himself up and throws him out. Nice play by Xander Bogaerts.
Oh, man. That ball was a rocket off the bat of Pennington, and Bogaerts, this ball's actually behind him and almost knocks him down. Does knock him down. He's able to regroup, get up, and have plenty of time to make that throw to first base because the ball was hit so hard. Beautiful play there by Bogaerts. He's making them all up the middle to his right, coming in on the ball.
Well, Torey Lovullo out there to make a pitching change here. Machi is coming out of the game. This game is tied 1-1. Thursday's New England Patriots banner raising game. Go to aceticket.com right now before they sell out. And one down here in the top half of the 7th inning. Josh Tolley's being pinch hit for by Russell Martin. The new pitcher into the game in Tommy Lane. 53rd appearance for Lane, 1-1 with a 4.07 earned run average, 42 innings, 42 strikeouts, 21 walks, and opponents hitting at .244 against Lane. Last pitched on Friday against the Phillies. It's the 7th inning of that game. Also Martin pinch hitting .239, 17 homers, 57 runs batted in. Did the catching here yesterday, game 1 of the series.
Yeah, really got beat up behind the plate yesterday, too, in that game. Couple of foul balls off the right shoulder.
Yeah, at least 3 of them that I can remember. Swinging a foul tip, 2-2. Noe Ramirez, a right-hander up for Boston. Martin batting in place of Josh Tolley, who had been 0 for 2, flying out to left, fouling out to the third baseman. Full count now. Tommy Lane has made 7 straight scoreless appearances. But he walks Martin here with 1 out here in the 7th inning. Toyo Tires, the official tire of the Boston Red Sox. Whether you're taking your truck off-road, the kids to practice, or your sports car to its limits, there's a Toyo Tire for you. Visit toyotires.com to find a dealer near you. Well, Carl Willis coming out, the pitching coach here. Justin Smoke has stepped into the batter's box to pinch hit for Ben Revere. So second straight pinch hitter here set up by John Gibbons. Tonight, after our Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, Adam Pellerin and Lisa Hillary will have the latest on a new report on the Patriots' involvement in Spygate and all the latest from Bruins captain's practice. NESN Sports Today is presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. 1 out and 1 on. Smoke's coming up here.
Many more at-bats from the left side this year than the right side for Smoke. 14 home runs, 4 of them coming as a right-handed hitter.
Swing and a miss for strike 1. Tried to hold up. Eight games against the Red Sox, a .500 average with 4 home runs. Seems like he's always done something good against the Red Sox, not imagining it. Martin held on at first by Shaw. Time called. Lane taking a long time. Brett Cecil still up for the Blue Jays. All right, Dickey going the first 6 innings, 80 pitches. Here's a drive to left. Holt on the move, will get there on the running grab. Throws it back in towards second base. A liner by Smoke to left center, but Brock Holt runs it down.
Excellent jump by Brock Holt in left field. Looked like it was going to be a gap, but he's able to cover that gap very, very quickly and make the catch. Out comes LaMelo again.
So Torey Lovullo out there again as Lane departs. Back to the pen they go. Noe Ramirez coming in, tied at 1. 1-1 the score with 2 outs, a runner at first base, and Josh Donaldson, the batter, taking a look at strike 1 from Noe Ramirez. Comes the 4th Boston pitcher of the night, 7th appearance for Ramirez. 0-1 the record with a 4.05 ERA, 5 Ks to 3 walks. On first base and back to the bag is Martin. Ramirez finishing the 8th inning yesterday against the Blue Jays. Allowed a 2-run single to Jose Bautista, allowing 2 inherited runners to score. They would charge to Rick Porcello. There's a one-hopper to shortstop Bogarts to second on the force out. That will end the top of the 7th. 7th inning stretch. Game tied 1-1. Behind Section 12 of the Lower Concourse. The IDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. A game tied 1-1 as we get ready for the bottom of the 7th inning, and some changes for the Blue Jays. Ezequiel Carrera in the game now in left field, and staying in the game is Russell Martin, who pinch hit for Josh Thole, the catcher. New pitcher is Brett Cecil. A little bit surprising here that he is into the game in the 7th inning. It's R.A. Dickey leaves after 6 and only 80 pitches. But Cecil into his 51st game of the year, 3-4, the 3.09 earned run average. Opponent sitting at 219 against Cecil, and R.A. Dickey now can just look on. 1-1 ball game, and Pablo Sandoval leading it off. Grounding one back up the middle to Lewitzki. Throws out Sandoval for the first out here at the bottom of the 7th.
Cecil going for the backhanded play on that. Got by him, but Tulowitzki there to make the play. And a very quick out here in the 7th inning. Watch the pitch of Brett Cecil try to go behind the back to make this play. Underneath the glove, hits the mound, bounces up, and Tulowitzki there to make it.
Cecil's been very good. He's not allowed a run over his last 21 innings and 24 games. It's the second active longest streak right now in the majors. And as a strike over the outside corner to Brock Holt. Last 21 innings, opponents hitting at 178 against him. In there for strike 2. He's given up just 5 hits to the last 42 batters that he has faced. And again, he's been used as a starter, closer at times, been all over that bullpen. for the Blue Jays, and now working in the 7th inning right now of this game.
And we first saw him with the Blue Jays. He was a starting pitcher, as Don mentioned.
Close pitch, called a ball, and it's 2-2.
Pretty nasty curveball right there. Very tough pitch for Holt to back off of. Very tempting.
Strike 3 call. This time he does get the corner. So Cecil's retired the first 2 Red Sox he's faced.
That brings it in about an inch and picks up the outside corner. You see pitch 4. Now look at 5. Just bringing it in a little bit. And he gets to the piece of the corner, and Holt caught looking.
More action for the Jays in the pen. The right-hander Mark Lowe warming up. Blake Swihart, the batter. Tried to hold up and did, according to Paul Schreiber, first base umpire. Swihart has struck out looking and lined out to left. 0 for 2 in the ball game tonight. Now some Sox culture brought to you by Kettle One Vodka. Like Swihart's favorite movie, Major League, Law and Order, SVU, country and hip hop music, both. His favorite app is Dot Up. There's a pop-up foul off to the right, not a play. No one does back-to-school season like Tanger Outlets at Foxwoods. It's your chance to shop over 100 of your favorite brands at a discount. Foxwoods, the official casino and resort of the Boston Red Sox. Visit foxwoods.com to learn more. 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Evens the count at 2-2. Jackie Bradley Jr. waiting on deck with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Full count. Swing and a miss, and Swihart strikes out. Cecil has a 1-2-3 7th. It's on to the 8th, tied 1-1. TC and Steve Lyons have previewed Joe Kelly's start as he looks for his 8th straight win. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Top half of the 8th inning, game tied 1-1. Back on the mound is Noe Ramirez. Got the final out of the 7th out there to begin the 8th inning. There is action behind him as this inning begins. Shinichi Tozawa warming. As Jose Bautista takes strike 1. Bautista has walked, stolen a base, struck out, and fly to right. Little dribbler right in front of the plate. Swihart jumps out there, gets around the bat, and throws wildly to first. And Shaw can't dig it out. Had to jump over the bat of Bautista, and then his throw is in the dirt.
Yeah, he had plenty of time to get the out at first base, but the throw's going to go down in the dirt. There's the bat getting in the way right there, but he has time to pick it up, square up, and throw to first base, just bounces it. And Travis Shaw can't come up with the short hop on the other side.
So it is an error charge to Swihart. Bautista reaching at first base, and now Edwin Encarnacion coming up. What was the argument there? The bat being in the way?
Possibly, yeah.
Inside, and did it nick him? It did. Got him apparently. Encarnacion hit with the pitch. And the first 2 Blue Jays will reach here in the 8th inning.
Encarnacion trying to get out of the way of that, but it just gets his uniform top.
First and second, nobody out, and Troy Tulowitzki coming up here for Toronto. Yanked that down and away with a fastball for ball 1. Tulowitzki tonight has grounded out to second, been hit by a pitch and singled to center field. All that was against the Red Sox starter tonight, Henry Owens. It's Bautista at second, Encarnacion at first. Fouled off over by the on deck circle. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. Get post-game reaction from Torey Lovello and Henry Owens. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? One pitch. Outside to Tulowitzki. 2-1. On deck is Chris Colabello for the Blue Jays. Still nobody out in the inning. Owens went 5 1/3, giving up the run the Jays have. Ended up throwing a total of 95 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. In the air, down the right field line, foul, and it evens at 2-2. More action for the Jays. Aaron Sanchez, right-hander, up in the pen. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Tulowitzki. A big strikeout there for Ramirez. Gets him on the slider for the first out of the inning.
A good pitch going well off the plate with this pitch here, and getting the swing from Tulowitzki on a pitch that was never really in the strike zone. He just didn't pick that ball up good.
So the pitching change here as Ramirez leaves after striking out Tulowitzki. Game tied 1-1. Call 617-226-6888 or visit redsox.com/season tickets today. Now 2 on here for the Blue Jays. 1 out in the 8th inning, and a pitching change for the Red Sox as Tazawa comes into the game. His 60th appearance, 2-6 with a 3.59 earned run average, 54 strikeouts, 13 walks, and opponents hitting at .271 against Tazawa. Chris Colabello, the batter for the Blue Jays. Let's take a pitch high for ball 1.
Tazawa working against a team that really has given him problems throughout his career, and in particular this year.
.788 ERA against the Blue Jays. 13.50 this year. And Colabello fouls it outside of third, even the count at 1-1. Tazawa last worked on Sunday against Philadelphia. Pitching the 8th inning, had 2 strikeouts. It's Bautista at second base, Encarnacion at first base with 1 out in the 8th. Colabello with a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Split-fingered fastball that time by Tazawa. Late action on it, dipping down to the bottom part of the strike zone.
A 1-2 pitch. Down low, and it is now 2-2. Batista reached on an throwing error by Swihart, the catcher. Encarnacion was hit by a pitch. Tulowitzki struck out. Noe Ramirez leaves. Tazawa comes in. Now ready with a 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, and it's a full count.
Tried the splitter again, but that time way outside. Swihart able to block it.
Kevin Pillar on deck. Blue Jays batting here in the 8th. Swing and a miss, and Tazawa is able to strike out Colabella.
Tazawa stays with his best pitch, and his best pitch is a split-fingered fastball. That time down, way out of the strike zone. Colabello chasing it.
So 2 down, first and second brings up Kevin Pillar. He has flied out to center, singled to center, and last time up grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. And he takes strike one. Fastball that time from Tazawa. Batista at second, Encarnacion at first. They were there with nobody out. They're there with 2 down. Foul back, 0-2. Tickets for the 2015-16 Boston Bruins season are now on sale. Purchase your tickets by visiting bostonbruins.com or by using the Bruins mobile app. The 0-2 pitch in the dirt, and it's a ball, and 2 strikes now to Pillar.
Tried to snap off the breaking ball there and surprise him on the 0-2 count. Usually that's a pitch that Tazawa uses early in the count to get a strike.
Runners go. The ball gets away as it kicks off Swihart, and a double steal here now for the Blue Jays. Second double steal of the game for Toronto.
Now with 2 outs, nobody really holding on the run, and you really shouldn't be. You should be deep to try to knock down any kind of ball that's going to be hit by you and keep a run from scoring. So that's why you see runners take off a lot in those double steal situations with 2 outs.
2-2 pitch coming up, and Pillar asks for time and backs out. Fouled back, stays alive with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that was up. Follow the Red Sox all season with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet today. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 down here in the 8th. Pillar lines out to third. Sandoval makes the catch, and Tazawa gets out of the jam. 4 for 4, including a home run yesterday from the 9th spot. As this pitch is bounced in by Cecil. Twisted tea is the hard iced tea. Tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. Cecil back on the mound here, dealing with Jackie Bradley Jr. and a pitch in there for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Bradley tonight 0 for 2. He has struck out, grounded out to first base. One and two. More action for the Red Sox in their pen. Robbie Ross Jr. Cecil came in the 7th, had a 1-2-3 7th inning, getting Sandoval to ground out. Struck out Holt, struck out Swihart. 2-2 pitch to Bradley.
Jackie Bradley Jr. yesterday going to the opposite field for the home run. First row of the monster seats. Let's do that again right now.
Strike 3 call. Bradley spins out of the box, takes with him the 3rd strikeout for Cecil in his outing.
Cecil with the fastball here to pick up the strikeout. Catches Bradley Jr. looking at a high strike just below the letters.
Now John Gibbons out to make a change here. The game tied up 1-1. Mookie Betts standing in. That's 1 for 3 tonight. Single back in the 3rd inning. And a swing and miss for strike 1. Blue Jays onto their 3rd pitcher of the ball game. Mark Lowell makes his 47th appearance. 1-2 with 1.76 ERA. 54 strikeouts, 11 walks. Opponent sitting at 243 against Lowe. Just missed, and it's a ball and a strike to Betts. Pretty good job by Brett Cecil. Faced 4 batters, struck out 3 of the 4. As he works the 7th, gets the first out of the 8th. 1-2.
Couple of sliders, 2 sliders, and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Lowe so far. Aaron Sanchez once again getting loose in the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
Well, the 1.76 earned run average ranks 5th lowest among American League relievers, as he misses low and away and evens a count at 2-2. Dustin Pedroia waiting on deck with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss, and Betts down on strikes. That's 4 strikeouts in a row now for Blue Jays pitching. 2 down.
Now 3 of the 4 have come on breaking balls too. It was a couple of sliders from Cecil, then a cut fastball, and now the slider again from Lowe to get the strikeout against Betts.
Two down for Dustin Pedroia. Struck out swinging in the first, grounded back to the mound in the 3rd, and then doubled off the wall in left in the 6th inning. His return tonight to the Red Sox lineup as he takes strike 1. Fastball at 96 from Lowe. On the ground towards third base, Donaldson plays the hop, throws out Pedroia, and we are headed for the 9th inning in a 1-1 ball game. Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Your local Subaru dealers. And by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. Robbie Ross Jr. into the ball game, his 46th appearance. 0-2 his record. As Pennington leading it off here in the 9th inning. Pennington 0 for 3. He's flied out to center, reached on a fielder's choice, and grounded out to short. Fouled back to the screen, and it is 1-2. Action for the Blue Jays in the pen. Right-hander Roberto Osuna up in the pen. ground ball right side of the backhand goes Shaw. He'll throw to first, and Ross covers just in time to get Pennington.
A good feed there by Travis Shaw. Good job by Ross covering first base. Any ball on the right side, pitches a train, get over there, and that's exactly what Ross did. Step in the throw right there, leading Ross to the bag where he can make the catch, look down, and find the bag.
So one out, and it brings up Russell Martin. Now, the Red Sox have asked us, and City Hall has advised us to let some people know here in the area around Fenway Park and the bars and restaurants that the police currently investigating a hazmat situation in the Kilmarnock area of Fenway. I understand that some may have parked their cars there, and residents have been evacuated, and the area cannot be accessed right now. We appreciate the police department's caution in a situation like this and ask for your understanding during this time. We hope this will be resolved safely and swiftly, and thank you for your patience. Again, for those of you who may be watching the ball game in that area tonight, the Kilmarnock area of Fenway Park. 1-2 pitch is up and away, and it is now 2-2. Down low, full count. Top of the order, Ezequiel Carrera, who had taken over in left field after Smoke. Pinch hit for Ben Revere in the 7th inning. Foul tip held onto for strike 3. Robbie Ross Jr. picks up his first K, 2 down in the 9th.
Yeah, Rez back with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that time to pick up the strikeout against Martin. Foul tipped into the glove of Swihart.
Time for tonight's game summary. R.A. Dickey leaving this game after 6 innings, giving up an earned run. Henry Owens went 5 1/3, giving up an earned run. Travis Shaw supplying the Red Sox with their only run, the home run, as he's 1 for 3. Pedroia in his return 1 for 4. As Ross picks up that outside corner for strike 1. And a swing and a miss.
That fastball from Ross has a little bit of movement right at the end of it.
It's late life. A 1-2 pitch. Very high, 2-2. On the ground is short. Bogart step to his left. Throws out Carrera. The Blue Jays are gone in the 9th. Here come the Sox in the bottom of the 9th. Tied 1-1.
1-1 to score. A little ground ball to second base. Encarnacion's going to get a run home early in the ball game, the first inning. Then Travis Shaw gets a fastball from Dickey. That's in the second inning, and that will tie the ball game. That's been it offensively tonight for both ball clubs.
Similar situation going on in New York. Game tied 1-1 there as well between the Orioles and the Yankees. They're in the ninth. We're in the ninth, and here come the Red Sox. Xander Bogaerts ready to face the new pitcher, Aaron Sanchez. 31st appearance, 6-5 with a 3.01 earned run average, 53 strikeouts, 219 opponent batting average. As Bogaerts takes a look at ball one. Bogaerts, Ortiz, and Shaw expected in the bottom of the ninth. There's a 1-0 in there for a strike that time. Sanchez taking over for Lowe, who got the final two outs of the eighth inning. Bogaerts on the ground at third, picked by Donaldson for the first out of the bottom of the ninth. Here comes Big Papi with one down in the ninth. What a time to get 498. Takes ball one, showed bunt, pulled it back.
Outfield very, very deep, trying to prevent that extra base hit. Infield in the shift. Ogando in the bullpen.
Mighty swing and a miss. 97 from Sanchez. Even asking if it was a strike or not. Whether or not it was in the zone. Down and in for ball two. Ortiz tonight is grounded out to first, struck out swinging, and popped out to the shortstop. 2 for 5 in his career against Sanchez. Two and two. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final presented by Uno's. TC and Steve Lyons will have an update on the AL East and wild card races. Two-two pitch. Up and away, full count. Ortiz fouls off another, this time to the left.
He had a good pitch there, didn't he? That pitch number 6 right down the middle of the plate, a fastball, and Ortiz a little bit late on it.
Fouled off again. He'll see an 8th pitch. Ball 4 and he walks him. So a 1-out walk here for David Ortiz in the 9th inning.
See if we see a pitch running out for David Ortiz as he makes his way down to first base. Rusney Castillo coming out.
So the night for Big Papi tonight. Did not homer in this game tonight. Still sitting at 497. H.B. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation's commitment to 4,900 accredited charities throughout New England. One out, one on, and Travis Shaw, his home run in the second inning, providing the Red Sox with their only run of this game. Now bats in the ninth. As he takes strike one. Inside, 1-1. After the home run in the second inning, Shaw grounded back to the mound in the fourth, flied out to left in the sixth. Potential winning run at first base with one out in the ninth. Two and one. Sanchez takes a little stroll in behind the hill. Sandoval waits on deck. Three and one. Runner goes. Shaw takes the strike, and the throw is in time. Castillo thrown out, trying to steal second base. Russell Martin gets him 2 down.
That wasn't even close at second base. Russell Martin, tremendous throwing arm, puts it right on the money, and they're waiting on Castillo. What a throw. Also got the fastball to work with. And Castillo out by a long margin.
Now Shaw chops one towards second base. Pennington races in. His throw is going to be in time. Quite a stretch at first base by Colabello. And we are headed for bonus baseball tonight from Fenway. Game tied 1-1 to the 10th we go. Season long, Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Well, game still tied 1-1 as we head to the top half of the 10th inning. A close play to end last inning.
Yeah, the umpires took a look at this. They thought that maybe Calaballo had taken his foot off the bag, but that didn't happen. Red Sox asked the umpires to look at it. They still make the out call at first base.
So some changes here for the Red Sox as Pedroia comes out of this game. Josh Rutledge now at second base. So Pedroia out, and into the game is Agondo for the Red Sox, their 7th pitcher of this game. For Alexi, his 57th appearance of the year, 2-0 with a 3.59 earned run average, 47 strikeouts, 23 walks. Opponents hitting at .234 against the right-hander. Earlier we saw a conversation that Dustin Pedroia was having with the training staff. Brad Pearson there, and then Torey Lovullo over to talk to him, and he ends up coming out of this game here in the 10th inning.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think they just don't want to push him in the first game back, into extra innings. Remember, if he was on a rehab assignment, he probably would have got 2 or 3 at bats, and that'd have been it.
Meanwhile, the Orioles have taken a 2-1 lead tonight at New York. They're in the 9th inning. The Blue Jays in a tie game here, 1-1, and it is Donaldson, 2 for 14 in his career against Agondo, who leads it off in the top half of the 10th inning. Oh, wild swing and a miss at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that was up. Agondo taking over for Robbie Ross, who went an inning with a strikeout. So far, the bullpen has been very good. The run the Blue Jays have coming off the starter Owens, who went 5 1/3. High fly ball to deep left field has Brock Holdback on the track at the wall, and that ball is gone up on top. No, they're saying no, and heading to third base. The throw there will be not in time. It's a triple. I think it's gone.
Yeah,
the way that it came off the wall was it landed on top.
I agree with you, Don. I think it landed on top of the wall, and I think they're going to have to take a look at this.
As it stands, it's a triple. Call on the field is a triple, but just based on the way that it ricocheted going upward, it bounced on the shelf and on top of the wall, I think.
Wow, that's no contact from the fan reaching out, and it looks like it hits right at the tippity top of the wall, not on top of it. It took a funny carom back onto the field.
Well, they are checking it out as it stands right now. A triple. Looked like they were going to get Donaldson at third base there, too.
Yeah, that was very close at third base. Looking at it on the replay, it looks like it hit the front of the wall and somehow bounced back onto the field. There's the play at third base, and just barely getting in with the 3 bases is Donaldson.
So we get a little closer to see where it lands. Yeah, right at the top.
Yeah, I think it bounces right off the corner. Right off the corner of the top there, as you can see.
Fan clearly did not interfere. And it is a triple, no home run. And now they're going back to the headsets again.
Now what are they going to do? Check the play at third base?
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe the Red Sox have challenged the play at third base, whether or not they got him.
One more look. Donaldson going into the head-first slide. I believe he's got the bag before the tag of Pablo Sandoval.
Manny Gonzalez explaining the situation to Donaldson. And Louis Rivera saying that it bounced up, so it had to hit up on top. But from what we can see, it hit the edge is what it hit.
That was a tough one right there, I'll tell you. Looking at it, the couple times we saw it, it did look like it hit right at the point of the wall. Right where that guy's pointing. Not where she's pointing.
These are Blue Jays fans, too. Let's keep that in mind.
That's it. That's the spot.
So a triple. They're sticking with that as there are lots of dents up there.
Yeah, pick one.
And the umpire is now checking out the play at third base. All right, we got a call now on the play at third base. Safe at third with a triple, as it turns out. So first, the Blue Jays challenged whether or not it was a home run. Then the Red Sox challenged whether or not Donaldson was safe at third. It is a triple, and he is indeed safe. So Blue Jays have a runner at third to begin things here in the 10th inning. And here comes Bautista trying to put the Blue Jays on top here in the 10th. Infield in for the Red Sox. Not all the way in. Pitch inside at 95 for ball one. Bautista tonight has walked, struck out, fly to right, reached on an error. One and one. Big swing there, the fastball again.
And Gondo with very good velocity so far in this game. 95, 96 miles an hour with the fastball. That one elevated to Bautista. They're really deep in the infield, about halfway on the left side. With nobody out, that should hold Donaldson.
Bautista hits it in the air to center field. Betts getting himself ready. He will make the catch coming homeward. No. Stopping at third is Donaldson. One down. Not going to try it. He drew the throw, though, by taking off initially at third base.
And Mookie Betts does a nice job, too, getting everything going toward home plate. A very quick release, and all Donaldson can do is take a couple of steps down the line to try to draw a bad throw. Tagging a few steps, make him throw the ball, hope that it's going to be a bad throw, but not the case that time. One hop to Swihart.
Now they're going to put on Encarnacion with first base open, and almost throwing it away was Gondo. So they will intentionally walk Encarnacion. Troy Tulowitzki be next here for the Blue Jays. So Encarnacion down to first base on the intentional walk. First and third now for the Jays. Here comes Tulowitzki. 1 for 2 against Agondo. Tonight he is grounded out to second, been hit by a pitch, single to center, and struck out.
See how the Red Sox infield plays this now. If they go back to double play depth, or they play it just a few steps in from double play depth where they have the option. Looks like they're going back.
Tulowitzki fouls the first pitch off at the dish. Josh Donaldson, the go-ahead run, 90 feet away here for the Blue Jays with 1 out in the 10th inning. They have another runner at first base. Blue Jays atop the American League East by half a game. The news from New York, the Yankees have just lost, so Baltimore winning 2-1 there tonight. And a ground ball base hit into left field to put the Blue Jays on top in the 10th inning. Donaldson from third, and the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead. A big hit for Troy Tulowitzki.
Tulowitzki gets that breaking ball from Agondo and covers the plate, hits that ground ball between third and short. There's the slider right there. More of a spinner that time. It was down in the zone, but Tulowitzki with the ground ball in a good spot.
Puts the Jays on top. Going to have a pinch runner here for the Blue Jays. For Edwin Encarnacion. Dalton Pompey will pinch run. So 2 on, 1 away now for the Jays. Chris Colabello coming up. Gondo now on the hook for the Red Sox. Red Sox will be expecting Sandoval, Holt, and Swihart in the bottom of the 10th. Colabello 1 for 3 against Agondo. Talk about how many Blue Jays fans were here, and they are chanting right now.
Yeah, we heard them yesterday, we hear them tonight, and I'm sure we'll hear them tomorrow night.
It is a fired up fan base. Trying to take a 1.5 game lead atop the American League East. With a win tonight, that's exactly what they would do. That one drops in there for a strike on the breaking ball. Swing and a miss by Colabello. Swihart bluffed like he was going to throw to second base as Pompey was dancing around there at second.
Swihart made a heck of a play on that, a backhanded play on a ball on the dirt, and actually saved 2 men from getting in a scoring position. That was not an easy hop at all. Looks towards second base, but nobody there, and not a big enough lead at second to make a throw anyway.
On the ground up the middle and diving to get a glove on it was Bogarts. It kicks out to center. Pompey coming around from second to score, and the Blue Jays take a 3-1 lead. So Colabello adding to the Blue Jays lead here in the 10th inning with a base hit and an RBI.
He's had a good night, a couple of hits, a walk. Big RBI single right there. right off the glove of Bogaerts as he goes into the dive, trying to knock it down and keep that run from scoring, but it gets by him, and another run comes across.
First and third. There is Kevin Pillar trying to add on to it. And a pitch outside for ball one, and a balk. Charging Agondo with a balk, and the plate awarded here to put the Blue Jays on top now 4-1 as Tulowitzki given the play, given second base Colabello on the balk.
Apparently Agondo did not stop. Let's take a look. Where's the balk?
I don't see it.
It looks to me like right there he stopped.
Now the ball gets away, and to third base goes Colabello. This has gotten away from the Red Sox here. Wild pitch charged to Agondo. Tie game into the 10th with the Blue Jays. And put together an attack here, helped out by the Red Sox, as now it is Carl Willis, the pitching coach, coming out. Heath Embry up in the Red Sox pen. Certainly getting ready for the bottom of the 10th inning. Kevin Pillar with a runner at third base. Still only one out here in this 10th inning. In the dirt, and it is now 2-0. Infield in here for the Red Sox with one out and a runner at third. Pennington on deck here for the Jays. Swing and a miss, 2-1. In the air to left center field, Brock Holt moving over. He will make the catch, tagging at third base. Colabello trying to score. Throw to the plate will be. He'll get away and he'll score. Comes out of the glove of Blake Swihart. Throw beat him, but the ball comes out of the glove. Run scores, and the Blue Jays take a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, it looked like the throw was there in time, but I don't think Swihart, after trying to make the tag, was able to hold on to the baseball. Taking a chance because Holt was not all that deep. Now let's see what happens here. There's the throw. On contact, it looks like the baseball came out. He has it as he goes to tag him. That's when it comes out.
Now Cliff Pennington batting with the bases empty. It has been a 4-run 10th inning to this point here for the Blue Jays. Fouls it off, a ball and a strike. Pennington tonight 0 for 4 in the game. And a swing and a miss. 1-2 now to Pennington. And for the Red Sox coming up, Sandoval, Holt, and Swihart expected in the 10th. Fouled off Swihart that time into the backstop. Still 1-2. That's the center fielder over towards right center. Good size gap out in left center field. Swing and a miss, and Pennington strikes out with the damage done. Blue Jays score 4 times and take a 5-1 lead. Including Irish step dancers at gates. Limited tickets are available at redsox.com/Irish. We want to update a situation we were talking about earlier in and around Fenway Park that we had mentioned. We understand from Boston Police tonight, Hazmat has an update. Chemicals do not appear to be drug or explosive related, so residents are allowed to return for those who had been evacuated in the area. As we head here to the bottom of the 10th inning, Roberto Osuna into the game here for the Jays. His 58th appearance, 1-4, the 2.11 ERA, 16 out of 18 in save opportunities, which just no longer is a save opportunity. They're trying to finishing it off here. He has 188 opponent batting average against him, and it is Pablo Sandoval leads it off here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Sandoval lined out to short in the 2nd, doubled in the 5th, grounded out to short in the 7th. That's a ground ball towards Donaldson at third base. Off balance throw, gets it there. He got enough on it for the first out here at the bottom of the 10th.
That's not an easy play either, because Donaldson had to go to his right to make that play off the bat of a left-handed hitter. You see where he's playing and where he has to go to make this play. Surrounds it, off balance throw to first, throws a strike to Colabello. first out of the inning.
One down for Brock Holt, 0 for 3 in the game. He is grounded out twice to short, struck out looking. Straightens Holt up with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball inside. Two and one. A 4-run top half of the 10th inning for the Blue Jays. Right after Baltimore had defeated New York 2-1 in the Bronx. There's a ground ball right side. Pennington, the second baseman. And there are 2 outs in the 10th. Red Sox down to their last out. The Red Sox are vying for a 5-game winning streak after winning the last 4 straight, sweeping the Philadelphia Phillies and taking the first game of this series against the Blue Jays. But right now, down by 4. So 2 down for Blake Swihart. And struck out, lined out, struck out again. Fouled off. 1-2. Well, Blue Jays fans coming to their feet in behind the Blue Jays dugout. A 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Swihart strikes out, and that ends the ball game. Blue Jays able to take game 2 of the series. A big win for Toronto, as it turns out. They end up with a 1.5 game lead, and the Toyota play of the game, Troy Tulowitzki, puts his new team, the Toronto Blue Jays, on top in this game. They would go on to score 4 times in the inning as the Blue Jays win it 5-1 tonight from Fenway Park to take game 2 of the series. We'll step aside and come back with more after this.